Have you ever been excited or nervous about something? Like so excited or nervous that you got shaky or kind of trembly a bit, and then like you speak really fast, or so it happens to all of us. Like I had a, a job fair a few weeks ago, where I was nervous, obviously, because there were all these companies looking to hire people, and I lost my job, so I'm trying my best to find a new one. And you know, you want to do your best to impress these people, and so I remember um I ended up walking up to this table, and I talked to the guy, and he's telling me about like they have this quality control department in their labs, and I'm like, oh, that sounds really cool, like this. And then he's like, yeah, we actually have the head like person, the head like director of the whole department here. He's like two people down on this table. I was like, oh, okay. So I went up and talked to him. I was like, oh, hi, like I was sent here by like your friend, like of like down the table, and I'd be really interested in working for you, like this. And then the the guy like started asking me questions. So he's like, oh yeah, so he's like, oh, so see you worked here, like what kind of experiments did you do? And I was like, oh yeah, like this. Oh, interesting. And so he asked like a really detailed question, and because I was so nervous, I kind of just said like, I stumbled upon my words, and I gave an answer that kind of made it sound like I didn't know what I was talking about. And then he was like, oh, what? He didn't say that, but like he gave me like a face, like that, a raised eyebrow face. And I was like, oh, I think I'm stumbling over my words. Sorry. He's like, it's okay, it's okay. I'm like, oh, and then the interaction ended eventually, and then walked away from the table, and all I'm thinking in my head is like, yep. So definitely not getting that one, probably. um, but yeah, getting nervous is something that happened to all of us. The other day when I was recording, actually, my best friend had called me, and so it was actually like what she was calling about was like, so her and I, we worked together in our last job, and um so we were nervous, or she was nervous about an interview that she was about to have like the next day. And so I like, was talking to her, trying to comfort her. And then so one like thing that I always found really helpful um when like talking about being nervous or things like that is, if you know the science, like the excited and nervous are like the chemicals that make them up are actually the same hormone. It's just like you can interpret it as negative or positive, and that makes it, whether you want to be uh excited would be like, if you want to interpret it positively, then you're going to be excited. If you interpret it negatively, you're going to be nervous. And so there was actually a study that showed that like athletes who interpreted this, or maybe it was an article. Yeah. So athletes who interpreted this emotion as positive and convinced themselves that like, no, I'm not nervous, I'm actually excited. So they ended up performing better in races or games or etc., or whatever they're playing. And yeah, and then the inverse was also true. So like the people who were nervous, they they did not end up performing that well. And so back in high school when I was on the swim team, I was actually like the captain, and like I actually knew this information back then, that like they're the same hormone. And so I would do my best to like really motivate my teammates by telling them this right before they had a race. I would tell them like, "Oh, Nervous and excited are the same emotion. You're not nervous. You're excited. You got this. I believe in you. And and I myself wasn't the best swimmer. I mean, I wasn't bad, but I wasn't great. But I was really good at support and motivation, and like my teammates really looked up to me for that. I'm a great support character. And so I actually also remembered telling myself that in my head, like I would be standing on the block, like nervous and kind of shaky, about to dive in for my race. And the cool thing would be like that. Whenever I would tell myself that, I'd be like, okay, nervous and excited are the same thing. I'm actually just excited. I'm excited for this. I'm excited. Um, so I would actually end up doing like better in those races where I did that, and it was amazing. I was like, oh, I did better. It's exciting, and like when you like break your personal record or whatever, and yeah. So that's the piece of uh knowledge or wisdom or advice I wanted to share with you all today. That like it's all dependent on like how you interpret things. There's always I feel like you can apply that to that negative positive interpretation to a lot of things. You can choose to view situation as like a negative event. Some situations are actually negative events, but some might just be neutral ones that can be interpreted in a bad way. But if you take some time, you can actually see that it can also be interpreted in a really nice way. Um, and so yeah, so that's all I had for today. I just wanted to share that technique or life hack or whatever you want to call it, in hopes that it can help some of you out. And hopefully it does. And so thank you for tuning in, as always. And if you like what you saw, please consider subscribing or leaving a comment or liking the video. Um, I'm doing this mostly because I want to help someone out there, and so if it does help you, let me know. That would mean a lot to me. And yeah, so I hope you all go out there and be your beautiful selves and have a beautiful day. Thank you so much for like listening and stuff. Okay, thank you.